from the betting capital of the world. Giving raw and real breakdowns of mixed martial arts and recapping UFC events like no one else with producer Martin on the ones and twos and combat sports betting expert Effie. You're listening to Any Action Sportscast. Any Action Sportscast. So put your headphones on and let's take this podcast to the next level.
This isn't a podcast. It's a sportscast.
What is up, guys? We are back. It's your boy Effie here with producer Martin on the ones and twos.
Welcome back to the #1 sportscast in the world, where we give full card predictions and a betting breakdown. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and share the video as well. UFC Vegas 49, Makhachev versus Green. I'm looking forward to breaking down this card, but before we do that, let's go ahead and recap UFC Vegas 48 along with our picks.
Absolutely, producer Martin. You know, this is a gambling show, a sportscast where we put money on the line on all sports. And we gotta be honest, man, we had a negative night. Our biggest unit loss ever as a show, negative 1.57 units. Now, it's not a lot, but you never want to, set records for the most you've ever lost in a week. We went 3-4 on our bets, and I gotta be honest, guys, we made a couple bad bets. I'll start off with the Jessica Rose Clark pick. We had her to go win via decision against Stephanie Egger, and Egger's judo was just too much, man. Those hip tosses were sick. I love me a good judo throw. Hats off to those guys or those bettors that had Stephanie as plus money. That was a good dog. Probably a little bit of a simp bet on my part, just as super hot, but can't be doing that. Can't be putting in simp bets. After that, we lost again on Abdul Wasaka Hassan. Now, that fight was really frustrating because we had him straight up as an underdog, and we had him via knockout. And it was just frustrating because he doesn't have any volume more. He just sits there and waits for the big shot, and it never comes. And he went full Tyron Woodley. He was a frozen one. And I wouldn't be surprised if UFC cuts him. He's 1-4 in the last 5. I was actually surprised to see a split decision. I thought it was clear that Buckley won. And then we had the urban defense dude in the corner, and we straight up lost a bet with the urban survival tactic guy in the corner. That's a real bad L for our show. Super embarrassed about that loss, but go ahead and skip to Nicholas Mota against Jim Miller. Now, another probably a casual rookie move by us. Even though Nicholas Mota did rock Jim Miller in the first round, it was Jim Miller's fight all fight. Those lead leg kicks were money in the bank all night. And sure enough, he finishes Mota in the second round. We hit on the fight doesn't go the distance, so that took a little bit of the sting off that fight. But Jim Miller gets it done. Shout out to the veteran, what a legend! Just hats off to him. Then we ended up hitting on Onama after getting punched in the eyeball. He almost got flustered, like if it was an eye poke. But to me, watching it live, I thought it was clean. I thought it was a clean punch, and he kind of is dazed for a second, turns it around, puts Benitez away, knocks him out, finishes him in the. I think that first round, just a crazy comeback. Bless the rains down in Africa for sure. Hit that for a unit. Then we ended up hitting our parlay, Martin. I said on the show, both the co-main and main were live for finishes. They both get it done in round 1. I'm talking about Kyle Dawkins and Jamal Hill. Both get it done in round 1. Made it look fairly easy, man. Jamal Walker straight up got cracked. One of the weirdest, most nuts knockouts you'll see. He got sprung. I saw some memes that are pretty bad on the internet, and you hate to see that when it happens to a fighter, but it just it comes through. We hit that parlay, but like I said, a negative night. Hope to bounce back. It's a lot of events in the UFC this year. Gotta go ahead and push forward. Onward. Gotta have a positive, keep the good vibes going.
We had a losing night, like you said, but almost in my mind, I felt like we won because of that parlay. Because so many people took that parlay. So many people that took it and sent us the tickets. That's like a victory to me. It's really good to see that.
Yeah, man. And I will say we were down 2.57 units with the co-main to go. And I was thinking about laying 2.75 units on Dawkins straight just to make up for it. But I didn't want to, dig deeper and risk him losing. Because in this podcast or show, we haven't really talked about how important it is to bankroll manage. You have to manage your bankroll. We're in it for the long haul. We're going to build this bankroll brick by brick. And so you just got to be smart. Even though Dawkins ended up winning easy, we can't go out and overextending our exposure. So we got to be smart about our bets for sure. And I will say, producer Martin, I feel real good about some of these bets this week. This card is not like the last card last week. This card is sick. They have some good fights on it, some pretty important fights, especially in the lightweight division. We'll go ahead and start with the main event, bro. Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green. The line currently sits minus 700 for Islam Makhachev. Bobby Green coming back at plus 500. Now, obviously, everyone knows Bobby Green just recently fought on the Israel Adesanya pay-per-view card. Had a good win over Nasrat Haqparast. But the fight itself, man, late, was it 10 days notice for Bobby Green says yes to Islam Makhachev. Not a lot of people out there are saying yes to this guy more, and it was hard for him to find fights for a while there. And this guy just has bad luck. He had RDA booked, and I think he got COVID or broke his foot or something. Then he had this, Beneil Dariush, and Beneil breaks his leg. Also, no one's really talking about how shitty that is for Beneil, how crappy that is. He really... was one win away from a title shot his whole career. You'd love to see guys' careers take that path and, really earn it, almost similar to Dustin Poirier type path. But this was going to be Islam's best win, man. And now he's faced with another short notice striker. Dan Hooker was short notice, a one-dimensional fighter. Bobby Green is short notice, one-dimensional striker. He deserves a title shot. In my opinion, he is the rightful number one contender, but it's just not good on the eyes, on the resume. It's not his fault either. So I feel bad for, everyone involved really here, but super happy for Bobby Green. He gets first main event. It just sucks that it has to be against Makhachev. So, like I said, a catchweight fight, guys. This is not at 155. It's at 160. So Islam doesn't have to cut weight all the way to 55. He's going to be bigger in this fight. And Islam's on what can we say about this guy, dude? He's on a 9-fight winning streak. The guy's an absolute killer. He's coming off finishing Drew Dober, Thiago Moises, and Dan Hooker. All three of those finishes, all three last year via submission. This guy is, no one's seen the fourth round. This guy is just a monster, a straight force in the division. I do think he will be the champion once he gets his title shot, and it's just been a matter of circumstance where it hasn't come to him yet. But on the other hand, Bobby Green, is no slouch. I know the line indicates that he's going to get killed here, but if you look at him as a fighter, he's coming off beating Nasrat. That was a good fight. And then he finished Ale Quinta. Ale Quinta hasn't been finished in a long time, but Ale Quinta to me had one foot out the door, thinking about retiring after the fight. So I just think it's not likely that Bobby Green makes it to the cards. I think that Islam Makhachev is going to finish this inside the distance. I think he's going to do it fairly easy, man. We watched it together. Producer Martin, our homie Shane Shapiro, submitted Bobby Green, and I think 65 seconds on Fight Pass. And I just think, man, if this Russian Dagestani monster gets him on the ground, it's going to be a wrap. Just a quick last little tidbit on this fight. I want to go through some stats on the fight, and I just want to give a quick shout out to the UFC stat diggers at Pub Sports Radio, DFS by the numbers, and Uncle Weezy. Those guys kill it every single week, and if you're a capper out there betting MMA, you have to watch their show every single week. They do it on Sunday, even during football season. But real quick, guys, some of the numbers I think are important when you're betting this fight is Bobby is a volume striker. Bobby puts the pressure on guys. You see him, come on in round 3 when guys can't hang for that long. And if it's a 5-round fight, who knows? He might have, continue to have success. But it's always 3-round fights, and he loses a lot of decisions. A lot of his fights go to the cards. He doesn't have that knockout power. He has that volume type approach. And the thing with Islam Makhachev is, Martin, the most significant strikes a fighter has ever landed against Islam in a fight is 13. So that's, to me, it's like you're getting controlled. Obviously, he's taking the fight into an area where you don't have opportunity to strike him. But if you look at his takedown numbers, he has 24 takedowns for 54 minutes of cage time control. So that comes out to around 2 minutes per takedown. So that tells me if you get taken down, Martin, in a round against Islam Makhachev, not only do you have to avoid getting ground and pounded or submitted, but you're probably going to get controlled for the rest of the round until the bell. And I just think that with his volume, he's going to leave himself open, for a takedown attempt, maybe in the clinch, or maybe some trips. I just have problems seeing how Bobby Green makes it to the cards. And we actually are on Islam quite a few ways here, but we'll go over the bets at the end of the show. Make sure you tune in. We got timestamps in the description, so make sure you stay tuned for our bets. But guys, we're all over this fight. I'll put it that way. Go ahead and go to the co-main event, which I was surprised to see was a co-main event. I was surprised the Tsarukyan fight and Alverez fight wasn't the co-main, but we have Misha Cirkunov versus Wellington Turman. Now, Cirkunov is the favorite at minus 125, Turman at plus 105. Misha is 2-3 in his last 5, coming off back-to-back losses versus Krzysztof Jotko via decision and Ryan Spann via his first-round knockout. He has submissions over Jimmy Crew, and that's a really good win. Jimmy Crew is really good. And he also submitted Nikita Krylov and Ion Cutabella. Those are good submissions to me, and obviously he's shown he can get you out there if you're not smart or responsible on the ground. He has a definitely a threat there as far as finish wise. The guys that are, he might have a chin problem though. He's starting to get knocked out. The guys that are knocking him out are pretty good though. Glover Teixeira, obviously really good. Spann, like I said, Ryan Spann, really good. He also got knocked out by Johnny Walker, bro. So he's got to watch his chin here against Wellington. But Wellington, man, I'm just not impressed. This is going to be a fade on Wellington. I have Wellington at 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a split decision against Sam Alvey. Now, Sam Alvey is not UFC caliber anymore, in my opinion. And if you're winning a split decision against him, that's not a great sign. He also got finished by Andrew Sanchez. And Andrew Sanchez is, like I said, nothing special. Not a good look. Likewise for his chin. He might have a chin problem here also. This is a pretty 50-50 fight, as the odds indicate. But I do think that Misha's size advantage, him having a height and reach advantage here, is going to help him in the striking. I think the striking's, almost 50-50. The big key in this fight will be the grappling. And with Misha being the bigger fighter, I think he'll have the advantage in the clinch. And if he does get taken down, he finds himself on bottom, I trust him enough to get up. And Wellington has 100% takedown defense, but he's only had to defend 4 takedowns in the UFC. So we'll see it tested for sure. Misha was pushing the pace against Krzysztof Jotko, and I think he attempted 14 takedowns in that fight. So he's going to try and get him here. So we actually have action on Misha Cirkunov as well. And like I said, tune in for the end part of the show. We'll go over how many units we have and how much money we're willing to risk on that fight. Next, man, is the fight I'm looking forward to most other than the main event. We have Armen Tsarukyan versus Joel Alverez. Line currently sits -300 for Tsarukyan, Alverez +180. Well, actually, sorry, it's at +220 now. I've seen some books, raising the price here. But guys, these are 2 great blue chip 155 prospects. I am super high on Tsarukyan. I tweeted out years ago, I think he has a chance to be champion. And then Alverez, dude, 100% finish rate. He's 19-2, 19 wins via finish. And that's, insane. I don't care how long you've been in the game to have a 100% finish rate. You're not even heavyweight. That's pretty insane. Go ahead and break down each fighter and go, see where we're going with this fight. But Arman is 4-1 in his 5 UFC fights. He debuted against Islam Makhachev, and he gave him a great fight. Islam in the main event. If you're a fan of grappling, I highly suggest watching that fight. The trips, dude, the inside trips, the grappling, the reversals, the sweeps in that fight were just insane. It's super high level, and you could tell at 21 years old, Arman had something special here. He put up a good fight, but he lost. Islam's a real deal. And for his debut fight, man, that's tough. That's real tough to get a debut fight, Islam Makhachev. But then, dude, the UFC does him no favors, and they give him Davi Ramos right, boom, back after that. So that tells me the UFC is really high on this guy, trying to get him some experience against high-level guys right away. Davi Ramos, for everyone out there that doesn't know, is a super high-level BJJ grappler. Accomplished his 1 tournaments around the world. And Arman, won the fight fairly easily and was not outmatched grappling-wise. Then he missed weight against who did he miss weight against? Oh yeah, well actually he missed weight against Frivola and then actually knocked out Giagos in his last fight with a clean left hook, dude. Just dropped him. Obviously, showed some power there. Looked great in the UFC so far, man. I'm real high on this guy. On the other hand, you got Joel Alverez. Now this dude, Martin, you're a wrestler, you've wrestled. I don't know how you'll appreciate this, but he's missed weight in 2 straight fights, bro. Jim Miller has been in the UFC for 14 years and has never missed weight. This fool has missed weight twice. And this guy is huge for the division. And obviously that gives him an advantage, but skill set wise, he is legit, man. I cannot knock him for his skills. But the weight issue thing is kind of annoying.
Well, I could tell you what. The weight issue could mean 2 things. He's not taking the weight cut serious, or he could barely make the weight. And he is taking it serious. So what do you think it is?
I just think he has a tough cut. I just think he's big. Maybe he hasn't found the right nutritionist, but something's up, man. You can't be doing that. And I'm sure the UFC has taken notice. Think about it. If he ends up fighting for the title one day, he has to make 155 on the dot. You can't miss 155.1. That's championship weight for a reason. Right now, if you're to fight 155, I think they give you some leeway, like a pound and a half, right? But no, man, you got to be making weight. Like I said, though, back to the skill-wise, breaking down as a fighter-wise, he's legit, dude. Like I said, 19 wins, 19 finishes. He's similar to Arman, dude. Lost his UFC debut, but he also lost to a killer, a 20-1 Russian, Damir Ismagulov. But since then, he's finished every single opponent the UFC has given him. He's given 4 fights. No one has reached the cards. He's just finishing dudes left and right. And he does it both ways, man. He can submit you. A lot of guys want to take him down because they don't want to deal with the striking, but he can submit you from bottom. And he can crack, man. Like I said, he's real big. He's long. He's real tall for the division. He just uses his frame well, man. He's dangerous. But I'll be honest, as high as I am on Arman, Alverez is a live dog, dude. At plus 200, plus 220, that's insane to me. I think there's some hype, some tax here on Armen. This should definitely be closer. The line should definitely be closer. But so I don't see myself laying the price on Armen minus 300, 3 units to win one, especially with how good Alverez is. I don't think so. I'm not going to touch that. And there is value on Alverez. Maybe I can see if it rises, touching him. But I actually think some money's going to come in on him and it's going to go down. So if you were to get on it, I'd get on it now. But yeah, man, I think Armen will be able to hold his own on the ground against Alverez. I mean, obviously, if he's holding his own against people like Islam and David Ramos, that the over might be the play here. I think the over or the fight doesn't go the distance. But I saw before we started recording that they set the over at 2.5. Now I would rather have 1.5 and pay some extra juice on that. It probably minus money, and because I just don't know how, because these guys are dangerous, man. Like I said, they don't go to the cards often, and I do lean over no action on this fight. If I'm gonna play it, let's say you like Alverez, play him inside the distance. If you like Armen, maybe put him on a parlay, because I don't know. I just don't see the minus 300, man. It is a lot. Like I said, lean over.
Right here on Station Sportsbooks, you can get Armen at minus 240 and Alvarez at plus 190.
You're lying.
Yeah, right here, current odds are.
Really?
Yeah, so that means, there's a big money. That means, look, that could mean a few things. That means the money is pouring in right now on
Alverez. You're 100% on the money, Martin. That tells me that huge red flag. Money's pouring in on Alverez. People were smart. When they saw that line, they're like, how can that be? This guy's a beast. Like, and he misses weight and gets like this weight advantage. But man, minus 240, if that goes down, might have to sprinkle him in on some parlays, bro. Wow, I'm surprised at that. I'm glad you pointed that out, man. Up next, we have Gregory Rodrigues versus Armen Petrosyan, another Armen. We have the favorite, Gregory Rodrigues, minus 165. We have Armen Petrosyan at plus 165. Now, Gregory is the Brazilian Obama. This guy looks just like Obama. It's crazy. But, he's well-rounded. He can finish you on the ground. He can finish you standing up. He actually was on Fight Pass as well, grappling in one of their showcases, and he's legit, man. He recently KO'd Jong Young Park in October. He actually got knocked out by Jordan Williams on Contender Series, and that's not good. That's not a good look. If you're getting knocked out by Jordan Williams, that's a red flag to me for sure. Jordan Williams, I don't even think is in the UFC anymore. And then, so when he got knocked out by Jordan Williams on Contender Series, he went to LFA and got 2 wins, knocked out 2 dudes, came to the UFC, won his debut against Park. And so, but Armen also was a Contender Series guy, and in his fight in the Contender Series, he got controlled, Martin, for like pretty much the whole first round. He would get taken up against the cage, taken down. He'd get up against the cage, taken down. But then once he got some space, he cracked this guy, dude. This guy, and if you watch his fights, he's 6-1, so he doesn't have much experience. If you look at his fights, he gets taken down early, gets up, and his opponents, I don't know how, are just tired and gassed, and he just knocks them out, bro. It's crazy. He's 6-1, and a lot of his fights go that way. It's just the weirdest thing watching footage on him. It's just bizarre. But then Gregory, man, he's legit too. Like I said, he's live for a finish, standing up or on the feet. On the ground. So I am gonna take a shot here on the dog. We're gonna be on Petrosyan. I think the edge here is if it can get past, if he can survive that first round of getting taken down and subbed. Petrosyan, I think him at American Top Team down there in Florida, I think they're obviously working hard, and I trust people from that gym. To obviously, he knows he has a red, a negative part in his game where people want to take him down, people want to attack those submissions on him, and he has to work on his takedown defense. I'm assuming that's what he's doing, and it's probably why I'm betting on him here. We're going to bet on him. We're going to let you know how many units at the end of the show, but I do think that the dog is live here. I really like those odds too at plus 165. Not that high on Gregory, but should be a good fight for sure. Let's go ahead and go the next fight. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Rong. Now, these are 2 young fighters. The line currently sits Bahamondes minus 230, Rong plus 185. That's a little steep, but I get it, man. Bahamondes will have a 6-inch reach advantage, Martin. That's crazy. Half a foot of reach, a 4-inch height advantage. When you see these guys line up at the weigh-ins, you're going to be like, dang. But that doesn't mean Rong can't have success. He can get in there, be the cleaner boxer inside. But I do think that the reach advantage and height advantage is going to be the factor here. And I love Bahamondes' striking. He had that highly real finish in his last fight, or last couple of fights, and he's shown to be competent striking wise. His dad's like some sort of legendary kickboxing coach or karate coach or something. and he comes from a family of martial arts. He's been around it his whole life. The thing here is Bahamondes will need to show good takedown defense. When you have such a advantage in those realms, the person on the other side obviously not going to want to get into a standing battle against you, so they're going to try to get clinched up, get him to the ground. And I think he'll hold his own against the cage in the open mat. I just hope he doesn't throw a silly strike, a spinning head kick, and just miss, leave himself open for a takedown, get control for the whole round. I do think that he can win this fight. And I gotta say though, out of 8 pro losses between both these guys, all have come via sub. So Bahamondes is 12-4 and Rong's 18-4, and out of those 8 losses, every single one has been a submission. So that's a little bit strange. If you want to sprinkle someone, either guy off via sub, that might be worth a shot. Neither one has ever lost the decision. But yeah, we're gonna go with Ignacio, the young gun, Bahamondes. And man, the next fight is actually probably sleeper for fight of the night. A lot of guys talking about Makhachev and the Tsarukyan fights, but this one, dude, Terrance McKinney versus Fares Ziam. Line currently sits McKinney plus 115, Ziam minus 140. Now, I think this is gonna be a super close fight. That's why the odds are so close. I think the books have it down pretty good. McKinney, is coming off that crazy debut, Martin, where he knocked out Favola in 7 seconds with the 1-2 right down the pipe. I think he set the UFC record for quickest debut win. Just crazy, dude. Had the crowd going crazy. And before that fight, man, he was actually making a lot of headlines for he overdosed and died, man, on LSD and shrooms. He took both at the same time. And I actually tweeted at him, or not at him, I was like, dang, I quote tweeted the article. I was like, you shouldn't do both at the same time, bro. What are we doing? And he replied, I was like, yeah, dude, learn my lesson. He was a good sport about it. It was really funny, really cool. And yeah, he's super active on MMA Twitter. Check out Terrance McKinney. But yeah, like I said, should be an exciting fight. The fight itself should be great. McKinney obviously has power, but don't forget he lost on the Contender Series. He got submitted by a guy that's not even in the UFC anymore. In his 14 pro fights, every single one has been a finish. Not one fight of McKinney has ever seen the cards. Ziam, on the other hand, has had 3 UFC fights. He's lost his debut and then won 2 in a row. And all 3 of his UFC fights have gone to the cards. But in his 12 wins, 9 of them, man, have been finishes. So even though he hasn't finished guys in the UFC, his regional scene, if you watch footage on him, he was finishing guys. And so, like I said, close fight, but as far as skill sets, I think the striking probably goes to CM. But McKinney, I wouldn't be surprised here if he tries to wrestle this or get this fight to the ground and drag out this fight. It's just, you don't know what a fighter's game plan is going to be going into it. And I really do want to see Ziam tested in the grappling realm here. So I don't have action on this fight. I lean McKinney, especially with the value, considering how close it is. But I gotta say, the best should probably be the fight doesn't go the distance. If you can get to a book where they offer that, I go ahead and take a look at it, because I have 23 professional wins between both these guys. 20 of them have been finishes. And out of 6 professional losses between these guys, 4 of them have been finishes. So that's pretty crazy, man. Like, whether they win or they lose, these guys are going out on their shield. Like, they're finishing guys are getting finished. So if you're gonna bet this fight, I don't lean, like I said, close fight. I lean McKinney, but I don't feel confident enough to bet him. I do think, though, a good play might be a fight doesn't go the distance, considering the rate at which their fights end at. And that'll wrap up our betting breakdowns for UFC Vegas 49 Makhachev versus Green, except for I do want to give out one last lean. I do think Ramiz Brahimaj is live to finish Michael Gilmore inside the distance. I saw Michael Gilmore on the Ultimate Fighter series last season, and I just was not impressed, man. He has clear vulnerabilities on the mat, and if Brahimaj can get him down, which I do think will happen, I think it's live for a submission. Now, the odds haven't dropped at the time of us recording. Producer Martin and I try to record as soon as we can on Mondays. But yeah, like I said, the odds haven't dropped. So as soon as those odds drops, we'll be on the lookout for Brahimaj inside the distance or Brahimaj via submission. Like I said, more of a fade on Gilmore. Now with that, that'll wrap up our breakdowns. Like I said, no more leans. And we'll go ahead and get to the right-hand man, the wizard behind the scenes, producer Martin, for our official Any Action Bets.
We have Makhachev inside the distance, minus 225, 2.25 units to win 1. Makhachev versus Green, under 1.5 rounds, plus 120, 1 unit to win 1.2. Makhachev via submission, plus 100, 1 unit to win 1. Makhachev round 2, plus 450.25 units to win 1.12. Makhachev round 1, plus 300.20 units to win 0.60 units. A personal favorite bet of mine.
And then we have Misha Cirkunov, minus 125, 1.25 units to win 1. Then we have the Tsarukyan Alverez over 1.5 rounds. Likewise, these odds have not dropped, so we'll be on the lookout. And as soon as it drops, anything under 200, minus 200, we'll be on for sure. Then we have Armen Petrosyan, the underdog pick of the week for us, plus 165, 0.5 units to win 0.82. Then we have the young gun, Ignacio Bahamondes, a little bit bigger of a bet, minus 230, 2.3 units to win 1. But I do think the size and reach advantage is going to come out clutch here, and I think he's going to either finish him or, you know, win the decision here. Which brings us to the best part of the show, the part of the show we hang our hat on, we put our you know, our integrity on the line, our reputation on the line. We're undefeated. Lock of the night has not missed one time since we started recording these. And guys, the lock of the night for this week is Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green under 2.5 rounds, minus 135, 5 units to win 3.7 units. Now, I just don't see how Bobby sees the cards. Like I said, they're giving us 12 and a half minutes to work with. If this fight gets to the ground, Islam's going to tie him up in a pretzel, and I think we're going to be on our way to another lock of the night hit. With that, that'll wrap up the show, guys. I think we're in store for a good night of fights. Make sure you guys tune in next week for when we break down UFC 272, Covington vs. Masvidal, and we recap this week's show. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Keep the good vibes going. Smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you like the show, go ahead and share it, man. Hit the retweet when we put it out. It really helps out a lot. We'll continue to take any action, and we hope to see you guys in the next show. Peace.
Which way to go if you want to smoke?